Happy Wednesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Daily Dope is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes, I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at The Daily Dope, presented by thegaminggang.com. Today is Wargame Wednesday, so it is February 6th, 2019. Welcome aboard. It's a live show. It has been a crazy night so far. Yep, Windows 10 update usually messes up the sound on the software that I use with virtual audio cables, and tonight was just even worse. So there was an update for Windows, and not only it wasn't just the sound wasn't in sync, it was like, what sound? So Lead Magnet, who was watching the show when we first started off, said that the audio was a little bit out of sync. So I went and double checked, made a few little tweaks, and the recording is completely in sync. Now, if it is coming out a little out of sync as far as the stream, that's a YouTube thing. I have no control over that. That does happen every once in a while. Not too often, but it does happen every once in a while. Tonight is episode 242 of The Daily Dope, and it is a Wednesday, so that means that Wargame Wednesday is sponsored by my friends over at Flying Pig Games and Tiny Battle Publishing. That's right. My good friend Mark H. Walker, who is the mastermind behind both companies, is our sponsor for Wargame Wednesdays. And gotta point out, got some pretty cool stuff. I'm going to be looking at one of the brand new games that's available for order from Flying Pig Games in just a little bit. But if you're looking for really good, meaty wargaming action, by all means, check out Flying Pig Games. And if you like conflict simulation, not necessarily always historical war games, definitely give a look at tinybattlepublishing.com as well. As I started to say, yes, I will be unboxing and taking a first look at Mark H. Walker's Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk, from Flying Pig Games in just a little bit. So, I was going to try to get a look at the expansion tonight, Tracks in the Mud, as well as the strategy guide for the Battle of Kursk, but now it's like the show's starting 40-some minutes late. So I had to wait a little bit, too, to make sure that the previous stream was actually to make sure that the previous stream started to render. Because if I don't do that, I've noticed, I ran into this before on YouTube, where if something was wrong, somebody was watching live and they said, oh, hey, you know, the sound's a little out of sync. I'd go, oh, okay. And then I'd say, oh, let me stop, we'll restart the show, let me tweak a little bit here and there. And then if I didn't wait a few minutes, then all of a sudden what would happen is it would take that portion of the stream that I didn't want, and it would combine it with the new show. It was like, I learned my lesson real fast to always make sure I record the stream. So, LM is saying the sync looks good. Don't you mean the sync sounds good? The recording is 100% in sync from what I can tell. So, anywho, as you can tell, there is chat available. This is a live stream, so chat's available on YouTube. It is not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of these stranger commenters at bay, but I do pay attention to it. So, if you want to just say hello, or if you have a question, or maybe something about the Battle of Kursk you want to get a closer look at, by all means, please chime in and I will respond. That being said, last night's show, one of our usual viewers, Paul Nolan, was taking part, and I apologize, Paul. You know what? nothing showed up in my chat window because I use a kind of like a chat app for YouTube, as well as it's, Twitch and other streaming. I think Facebook you can plug in, and I didn't see anything. I just saw, what I had started out the show with, like, hey, happy Tuesday. I'm going to be reviewing Scorpius Freighter from AEG. And that's all that was showing up. And then the video gets rendered, and there's Paul saying, hey, good evening. I was like, what? Like, when did that happen? It's like, oh, hey, I got a couple of questions. And I'm like, what? It's like, where was that? Because if you ever notice I'm especially when I'm over like turned like this, doing a review or doing an unboxing or anything like that, if you ever notice that I'll look like that, right? So you see my eyes kind of go like, that's where the chat window's at. I'm not just like looking off into, space. I'm looking at the chat window to see, oh, somebody have a question, somebody saying hello, what have you. Anyway, so my apologies to Paul Nolan. I was not trying to ignore you on yesterday's show. For some strange reason, chat was not coming through to me. Now, Lead Magnet is over here. I thought it was a mini stroke. So Lead Magnet's watching tonight, and the chat's working. Who knew? So anyway, if you liked the video, I should point out, please get a thumbs up. If you watch a few videos on the Gaming Gang channel and you like them, please subscribe. Be sure to ring that bell because it will notify you when not only a new video is up, but also, as far as I understand, tell you when the stream goes live. I think. I don't know. I don't have it notifying me, so that'd be kind of weird. Something else I want to mention. If you like the Daily Dope, if you go to thegaminggang.com and you dig it, tell a friend. All I can ask you to do, let one of your friends know. Say, hey, you ever check this out? Check out thegaminggang.com. I would really, really appreciate that. Definitely, great way to kind of spread the word. I'm amazed at how many people actually have found out about the Gaming Gang just through word of mouth. And that's pretty wild because, now granted, it's not like huge numbers, but the website does pull in a little more than 80,000 unique visitors every month on average. And that's not 1,000 visits, that's unique visitors. And I have some people who show up every day looking to see what's new. They're only counted once a month as a unique visitor. So you're not up on all that stuff. Okay, so I'm just kind of rambling on. So do want to mention there is news tonight. I know there are some folks out there who do not like the tabletop gaming news. If you are one of them, please look in the show notes below. You will see the timestamp so you can skip past the news, go right into the unboxing for the Battle of Kursk. Okay, so let's jump on into the news because I have to say there's an upcoming title that actually looks pretty interesting, and it's called the Waters of Nereus. I believe that's how it's pronounced. It is from Dr. Finn Games, and I have a wee little bit of the dope about it. Explore the waters of Nereus, a fabulous world with wonderful treasures in its vast seas. You lead a capable and talented crew. Thank God. It's like most games, it's like, gotta lead a bunch of goofballs. Anywho, the captain determines the best direction to sail. The pilot and first mate maneuver the ship through the ocean. The purser controls your funds, thus the purse strings, right? The scientist performs important research. The merchant buys your treasures, and the boatswain controls the equipment. The game consists of 6 rounds. In each round, a round card is flipped, showing how many crew members can be activated during the round. Players simultaneously choose a crew member to use, then, in turn order, perform the action. As you collect treasures, you can pay off the crew to score victory points, as well as gain additional actions. The player who can best manage their crew and keep them happy with found treasures will be victorious. Waters of Nereus is for 1 to 4 players, so there is a solitaire aspect to the game. It's for ages 14 and up. I believe that's probably because there's a lot of small, easily swallowed pieces. It's supposed to play in about 45 to 60 minutes and will carry an MSRP of $40 when it arrives in May. Gotta say, I thought this looked kind of interesting. I am not familiar with Dr. Finn's games whatsoever, although they do have a few releases. This is not like their first game. One thing I do find kind of interesting is if you go to their website, it tells you the MSRP is $50 and it's coming in June. But according to the distributor whose information I use, it's coming in May and it carries an MSRP of $40. I don't know. I have no idea. Not sure who's right. But it does look kind of interesting. Looks kind of cool. All right, so sticking to kind of family-friendly, all-age gaming. If you enjoy Spirits of the Rice from APE Games, but wish for a quicker and more streamlined experience, you might want to take a look at the upcoming Rice Dice. Here's the dope. In Rice Dice, a streamlined version of Spirits of the Rice Patty, you roll the custom dice and choose one action based on the results. Add rice patty carts to your field, run water through your patties, assign laborers to plant and harvest, or add weeds to opponents' fields. I hate when that happens. Harvesting gains players' rice, which is essential to win, but patties with weeds produce less rice, so it's essential to assign laborers to keep patties clean. Everybody likes a clean patty. A harvested patty can once again be flooded using a water action, and then the cycle of planting, draining, weeding, and harvesting begins again. First player to collect 100 rice via harvesting or other special abilities wins. Like Spirits of the Rice Patty, Rice Dice rewards a player's ability to optimize the process of flooding, planting, weeding, and harvesting. I just say that? But it plays in just a fraction of the time. Rice Dice is for 1 to 5 players. Yes, another game that's got some solitaire rules in it. For ages 10 and up, plays in about 30 to 45 minutes. Game will carry an MSRP of $25 when it arrives in May. Do want to point out there's an image that's showing kind of the layout, like victory points, stuff like that. That is actually from Tabletopia. That is not an actual image of the game. Gotta be honest, it's very, very difficult to find any images for this that are not from just, personal accounts on Board Game Geek, which I do not use those photographs. To move on to some RPG news. Now, yesterday, I did mention Modiphius Entertainment had some new Star Trek Adventure supplements which were on the horizon. And today, I've actually got the dope. Modiphius Entertainment has confirmed the release date of their upcoming Sciences Division supplement and Alpha Quadrant sourcebook, and announced a brand new missions book entitled Strange New Worlds. The Sciences Division supplement will round off a series of 3 supplements that give players and game masters guidance on the 3 Starfleet divisions: Command, Operations, and Sciences. Inside the Science Division supplement, players can find a detailed exploration of the Sciences Division, covering the science and medical departments, Starfleet Exploratory Division, Starfleet Science, and Starfleet Medical. There's also an exploration on... That's kind of weird. An exploration on including fan favorite Q in your campaign. Okay, I guess that's grammatically correct, but I don't know if I would write it that way. There's an exploration. The book contains new options for science-based characters, as well as science and medical equipment not yet covered by the game. Game masters have new rules for creating truly alien beings, like the ones that were in Star Trek, which was usually just a person in a rubber suit. I like Star Trek, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it. Come on, up until recently, and they had those special effects. Basically, you had to kind of throw somebody in a rubber suit, or it was just some sort of a puppet. Anyway, so you can create truly alien beings, like aliens made of energy or different elements, as well as new rules for diseases. There are also non-player character statistics for famous scientific luminaries like Carol Marcus, Noonien Soong, and Zephram Cochrane. Sweet. The Sciences Division hardcover supplement is going to be priced at $34.99. It'll be available in both print and PDF directly from Modiphius.net, as well as DriveThruRPG, beginning February 19th. And of course, it'll show up in your friendly local gaming stores shortly afterwards. In July, players will be transported to the Alpha Quadrant with the second Quadrant sourcebook for Star Trek Adventures. The Alpha Quadrant sourcebook will focus its sights on Starbase Deep Space Nine, Cardassian Union, the Ferengi Alliance. I was never a big Ferengi fan. And the Maquis. The book's cover features original artwork of the first Battle of Deep Space Nine, with the station defending itself from the Klingon fleet, suggesting that Star Trek Adventures is covering more of the franchise's timeline as the books are released. In August, Star Trek Adventures will begin to explore strange new worlds with its second mission compendium of the same name. The book will contain 10 original missions to play through, exploring the strangest and most challenging away missions on dangerous planets and weird environments. Strange New Worlds follows These Are the Voyages. Isn't it? These Are the Voyages Volume 1, if I remember correctly? And providing fans with adventure material for the game from both Star Trek fiction writers such as Christopher L. Bennett and roleplay gaming luminaries like Jason Bowman. Very cool, very sweet. So we have the third of the Division books will be arriving in a couple of weeks, less than a couple of weeks. So that's pretty sweet. I like Star Trek Adventures. I only reviewed the core book, but yeah, pretty sweet, pretty cool. Speaking of RPGs, I should mention that I have a contact now at our Talosorian, I think that's how it's pronounced, company that does Cyberpunk 2020. Well, I think it's just Cyberpunk now. Castle Falkenstein, the new Witcher role-playing game. We're gonna start taking a peek at some of those. So pretty sweet. Got some more RPG stuff coming down the pike. All right, so hey, it's Wargame Wednesday. How about we talk about a little bit of wargaming news? Because following an incredibly successful Kickstarter, Phalanx and Ares Games will be releasing U-Boat, not U-Boot, it's U-Boat, the board game. I have heard some people talking about this game is pronounced U-Boot. It is not. It's just the German way of spelling boat, folks. Wargamers out there know that. Just regular casual gamers probably don't. Anyway, so U-Boot, U-Boat the board game will be arriving this April, and I've got the dope. U-Boat the board game, you could just call it U-Boat, is a real-time tabletop game of World War II submarine warfare. It's an underwater cooperative war thriller that allows players to assume the roles of the captain, the first officer, the navigator, the chief engineer on board a Type 7C. Almost fell into that. Type 7C U-Boat. The game is enhanced by a companion app, allowing for an unprecedented level of realism, as well as a challenging enemy AI that will push your skills to the limit. The action unfolds both on the strategic and the tactical scale, always demanding teamwork, efficient crew management, and quick situation assessment. The game features open-world real-time gameplay. So are you going to spend like weeks on patrol? Thanks to the most advanced board game companion app ever created. Their words, not mine. Its 3D graphics feature a gyroscope-enhanced first-person view. Look through the eyes of an observer or through the periscope. The unprecedented realism and historical accuracy mean you can decipher messages using the Enigma, while the Allies are doing the same thing. Acquire targets with the hydrophone and fire deadly torpedoes. Game features stunning production values with a huge 90-centimeter 3D board, accompanied by a realistic sailor, equipment, and artillery figures. Authentic navigation, procedures, and realistic sound effects from the companion app create a never-before-seen level of immersion. Completely asymmetrical roles give each player their own responsibilities and unique challenges. The unforgiving and adaptive enemy AI is a fearsome opposing force that will hunt you down using realistic deduction and search patterns. U-Boat, the board game, is for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, plays in around 60 minutes or more, and will carry an MSRP of $99.95 when it arrives this spring. It looks cool. I do dig the whole 3D submarine. It's got all these little minis in it. Only one thing that really kind of holds me back, and I am going to reach out to APE Games to see about doing a review of U-Boat, the board game. I am not a fan of having apps required for you to play board games. That's kind of throws me off. Hey, Ghost World is popping in. I'm only 20 minutes late. I'm slowly getting there. Actually, Ghost, I started the show off late tonight because I had some sound problems because of an update with Windows. Always messes up my software. And then I started up and led magnets hanging around and pointed out that the sound was a little bit out of sync. So you're not really that late. You're not real late tonight. And Glenn Darren, good evening from Orlando, Florida. Haven't had a chance to tune in since the deep freeze. Yes, the duct tape studios are a bit less Arctic. They are. Yeah. It was really, I was like, there's no way. No way I'm doing a show down there. Because I was like, because it's not heated. It is not heated. One of these days, I will actually post a picture up of what the duct tape studios really do look like, and people would be like shaking their heads, which kind of leads me to something where I get emails from people say, oh, your video quality isn't all that good. You should invest some money into better cameras and blah, blah. It's like, hey, you know what? I'm one of the few people who've been covering the hobby for a long time who doesn't sit here with his hand out, right? I don't do Kickstarters. I don't raise thousands of dollars, tens of thousands, or about $250,000 right now for somebody's Kickstarter, and then turn around and say, oh, hey, game company, you want a video? Then you got to pay me. I don't do that. So kind of irritates me when people are like, yeah, should really, really improve the quality of your equipment. It's like, well, that's great. Why don't you pay me? You upset about the camera not being as good as it could be? Buy me a new camera. So Ghost says, yeah, he agrees with the app thing. Yeah, I'm not real big on including apps. Gotta say, that board looked cool, and the big U-boat. There are some images, there's some pictures floating around out there that are really sweet. And they show the game set up at tables in various. I think last time I saw it, I think it was Essen that they were actually demoing the game at. And you could tell that was like the regular game, and that U-boat is huge, like it said, 90 centimeters. That's pretty big. All right, so anyway, before I jump into the unboxing for Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk, I do want to point out, please consider supporting Lil Bub's Big Fun at the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. As I have pointed out before, and every time I mention this on every show, I know some folks are like, yeah, I don't like that. Well, excuse my French, but tough shit. So, once again, I am not doing the show, the Gaming Gang, anything like that as a for-profit endeavor any longer. So everything outside of any of the operating costs for the Gaming Gang, and thus the Daily Dope, actually gets donated to the ASPCA. And I happen to be a big fan of Lil Bub. She is just an adorable cat. She has had all these weird genetic challenges she's overcome. Everybody said this cat was not going to live. Cat is now 7 years old and just adorable. So, Lil Bub's Big Fund actually helps organizations who are taking care of special needs animals who are awaiting adoption, who are awaiting to hopefully find a forever home. And I think, as someone who's an older gamer, I can kind of identify with some of these older pets that have a hard time being adopted. But it also takes care of animals who are blind, animals who are deaf, animals that have mobility problems, things like that. Animals that need, like I said, special needs animals. And one thing that's very cool about Lil Bub's Big Fund is 100% of all funds that are raised are sent out as grants to organizations. There's none of the, well, yeah, well, we raised so much and half of it goes out. The 100% of this fund is awarded as grants. Also, want to point out, if you do happen to make a donation to Lil Bub's Big Fund, shoot me an email. You can see my email address is right there in the bottom corner, and I will give you a shout out on the next show. You don't have to send me receipts or any screenshots or anything like that. I believe you, okay? You say you did it. I believe you. You have done that. Let's see. What do I think was the best GMT game I played in 2018? Hi, Eric, by the way. Um, okay, so a lot of people were really into Fort Sumter. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I did not think it was great. And I know there are a lot of people out there. I'm not naming other reviewers or anything like that. And they were just, I mean, they were losing their minds over this. And to me, I thought, well, and I get it. Mark Herman, he can design whatever he wants. And there are a lot of war game designers or conflict simulation designers out there right now who are kind of souring a little bit on the industry, and they're looking at kind of just putting out some lighter games, or even designing completely different genre. So I understand him. Mark Herman's kind of like, yeah, I'd like to kind of design a little, quicker playing games and things like that. Completely get it. I just thought it was good. I didn't think it was fantastic. It was certainly not my game of the year as far as GMT went. Um, I like Cataclysm. I thought Cataclysm was pretty good. Hitler's Reich, I thought was pretty good. Well, I was gonna say Wild Blue Yonder is actually probably my favorite GMT release in quite a long time. But then I've been a big fan of the game that was the Dan Verson game that it's based on. Wing Leader, isn't it? Is that it? Wing Leader, I think maybe it was Down in Flames. Oh yeah, you know what? I think it is. I think Dan still calls it Down in Flames. But if I remember right, I don't think that came out in 2018. Eric says, "Yeah, I thought Fort Sumter was overhyped a bit." It does. I mean, I agree. Led's saying, yeah, it serves a purpose. It addresses a market. Yeah, it is a little bit of a kind of a little conflict, little take that going on, and you can finish the game in about 20-30 minutes. Me personally, I don't know. Part of it was the look of the game. I thought the look was kind of blah, which was very unusual for GMT. Um, Wild Blue Yonder, yeah, love it, love it. Let me take a look. There's something I'm forgetting back here. I have yet to really play Space Core. Space, yeah, it is Space Core. I almost said Space Corpse. Yeah, I would say okay. So I'm gonna say my favorite. You know what though? I really liked Pendragon. Thing is, I donated it because I knew it wasn't gonna be a game that I would get off the shelf. Not with the people I know, not with my friends like my best friend Elliot Miller, who used to be part of the gaming gang, my nephew Cameron, who's 17. It was tough to actually get the review done of it, but I really liked it. So you know what? It's a toss up. It's going to be a toss up between Hitler's Reich and um, Pendragon. So all right, yes, Wild Blue Yonder is a remake. Yeah, that I do know. In fact, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. I wish GMT would actually go and do the Pacific. That'd be awesome. Because I had that back in the day. I had all the Down in Flames that were out of print, and I was buying them secondary market, and I was spending about $100 each. So, all right. So, ever play photosynthesis? No, I have not. In fact, I know what photosynthesis is, but I'm not even familiar with the game. So, all right. Before I jump into the unboxing, let me point out what's coming up on future episodes. So, tomorrow it's Thursday. So, Thursday means role playing games, which basically means I'll have a whole different crew in chat because it's kind of how it works. But I'm a huge fan of role playing games. I am going to be reviewing the Torg Eternity Living Land sourcebook as well as the Living Land Delphi missions, both from Ulysses, North America, my good friends over there. So these are the first new supplements that came out for Torg Eternity, which actually look at one of the cosms. So unfortunately, I did not get the I think it's called the God Box, which is the adventure, kind of like campaign. All right, and then on Friday's show, I am going to be reviewing The Thing, Infection at Outpost 31 from USAopoly and Mondo Raygun. If you're a fan of John Carpenter's The Thing, you'll definitely want to check that out. And then on Monday's show, I will be reviewing Master of Wills from Stormcrest Games. A little bit different, a little different sort of game there. That's on Monday's show. Sacrilege to mention role-playing games, I guess, on Wargame Wednesday. All right. Do I solo any coin games? No, I do not. Very honest with you, I really dig the coin games. I am not. I am not big on playing a game solitaire that is not really specifically designed for solitaire. And yes, I know they've got the flow charts and all the bot charts and stuff like that. No thanks. Yeah, it's just not. I never play them solo. Never play the coin series solo. So I've messed around with them to see how the flow of the AI goes, but no, I've never played complete games. Just I need I you know now granted solitaire game like the Hunters from Consim Press, that's totally cool solo. I mean, it's designed as a solitaire game. I mean, it's not super historically accurate, but it gives you enough of a vibe where it's like, yeah, all right, I'm commander of the submarine. But that I have no problem with. I mean, I don't have any issue with games that are kind of designed as solitaire games. Just the coin series, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just all the flow charts and stuff like that. All right, so let's. No, I don't play solo. I have friends. Yeah, kind of saying that a little bit. I have family members too, so who are part of the gang. So it's like, you want to go to Comic Con, cover it as the press? You're gonna have to play some of these games. So, all right, moving right along. Let's jump into the unboxing because I'm going to be taking a look at March. I need a sip. Taking a look at Mark H. Walker's Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk. Say that 5 times fast. From Flying Pig Games. It's designed by the aforementioned Mark H. Walker and David K. Van Hoos. I believe that's how it's pronounced. With artwork provided by, I am going to get this so wrong, Ilya Kudryasov? Sorry. Game is for 2 players. I would recommend ages 13 and up. Now, this normally will carry an MSRP of $100. You can currently order it from Flying Pig Games for $85. I do not know how long that will last. Still kind of like a pre-order price. I do know that I believe it was either yesterday or Monday that this was now available for purchase. This is no longer a pre-order. Do want to point out the expansion Tracks in the Mud does go for a $45 MSRP. You can currently get it for $35, and the strategy guide is $25. You can currently get it for $23. All right, so let's move on over to the other camera here. Hey, look, my remote. It's a live show, right? What can I tell you? It's a live show. Didn't realize the remote was sitting there. Nice job. Okay, so, and I actually do not have my reading specs down here tonight. Well, we'll make do. All right, so obviously enough, this game is going to be Platoon level, and it is going to tackle the World War II Eastern Front Battle of Kursk, which was the biggest tank battle of World War II. Also considered by many historians to be the turning point of the war in the East. So, it is for 2 players, ages 12 and up, according to Flying Pig Games. You know what? Let's zoom in a little bit. We can zoom in a hair. There we go. Includes 252 colorful 1-inch square die-cut counters, 2 mounted 17-inch by 22-inch geomorphic game maps, 18 playing cards, 3 player aid cards, a full-color rule and scenario booklet. So, the Battle of Kursk is a Platoon Commander Deluxe module simulating. Actually, it's just with this kind of overlay here is a little difficult. Anyway, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that anyway. Operation Citadel, July 5th, 1943 through July 16th, 1943. The German offensive period against the Soviet Union. The module designer, David K. Van Hoos, has brought to life the largest armor engagement of World War II that would not be recast until 1965 during the India-Pakistani War. The module includes 12 scenarios that will take the gamer from small skirmishes to the slugfest near... yeah, like I'm going to be pronouncing Soviet cities in that. Towns, I should say. No. Alright, so let's skip ahead. Platoon Commander Deluxe is a Mark H. Walker designed platoon-level game system depicting armored combat from 1936 into the near future. Counters represent everything from tanks and infantry to armored personnel carriers, and as the technology progresses, even missile teams. The game uses an innovative sequence of play, a card-assisted system that is partially impulse-driven, partially turn-based, and all fun. Morale plays a decisive role, and the period's equipment is understandably depicted with colors and numbers on each counter. From the designer of Lock and Load, World at War, and Night of Man, 65 squad-level combat in Vietnam, Platoon Commander Deluxe is an exciting, accessible game of strategy and tactics. All right. Did World War II not end in this game? No. Kept going. Do want to mention, if you want to get an idea of the Platoon Commander system, this is what throws some. This is going to throw a few people off. So, Platoon Commander is over at Tiny Battle Publishing. It's one of the zip-locked, kind of take on the go sort of games that Tiny Battle Publishing makes. Now, Platoon Commander Deluxe, which is that system, is a Flying Pig Games title. So, Flying Pig Games does the big box games, and Tiny Battle Publishing does the small Ziploc games. If you want to get a feel for the system, if you want to dip your toes in before you spend $85 or $100 later on, you can check out Sticks and Stones, which is the first supposed to be hypothetical U.S. versus Soviets at the end of World War II. Hey, Robert Moffat's popping in. Seen Robert in a long time. Good to have you popping in, Robert. Anyway, I was going to say you can pick up Sticks and Stones. You can either get it from Tiny Battle Publishing, which I think it's like $22-ish, or you can go to Wargame Vault and get the print and play for about, I think it's like usually like $10. So if you want to check that out before you make an investment of $85, that's what I would probably recommend. Now we're gonna take a peek here. We've got what we got here? 6 10-siders. That's cool, right? And I always use more 10-siders. I really can. I don't need D6s. I got D6s coming out my you-know-what. Right, so we've got, these are the cards. We're going to take a look at the cards in just a sec. We've got the rule book, which is not very thick. I'm going to page through that in just a second. Turn record track. All right, so let's jump into the rule book here and take a quick peek. So we're looking at what, 10 pages, 11 pages? No. The okay, so here's the table of contents, goes to page 9. Well, I assumed, oh, okay, it's only so many pages. All right, so it looks as if there's an error on the table of contents, because it only goes up to fire support. More than that. All right, so we've got battle overview, general concepts. Talking about stacking, outline of play, aid and focus, focus markers. Now we got fire combat, results of combat, opportunity fire, moving fire, flanking fire, multiple attacking units. Yep, Flying Pig games are solid, yes. Yeah, love the huge pig logo. So we got movement, transporting units, line of sight, close assault. So even though the Battle of Kursk is the biggest armor battle of World War II, it's not as if the infantry and support units are going to get the short end of the stick. So fire support, fortifications. All right, so now we start getting into scenarios. Take the high ground. Breach of the 1st Defensive Belt. 16th Tank Corps meets a Tiger. Rakas dug in and hauled down. Pincher at Ponry Station. Mini Stalingrad. Every available Stuka. Southwest slope of... Oh, wait. Nope. Sorry. Jumped ahead there. Southern face operations. We got River Bridgehead. Push of the 2nd SS Panzer Corps. A daybreak, July 12th. Southwest slope of hill. 226.6. Then rear guard. So we've got the dozen scenarios. So that is the rule book there. So altogether it was what, 18 pages? Yep, 18 pages of rules. Got a turn right track. Single side here. Got a fire results table, close assault table, talking about the range color explanation. So as far as I understand, and we saw this a bit in Armageddon War, where the counters had, yeah, well, hey, Robert's like promoting my interview with Mark. Hey, Robert, you're promoting it better than Mark did. So here's something funny. So for some strange reason, Mark is not following me on Twitter. I know it's not like he's intentionally not following me. So I had to shoot him a tweet today, because obviously I follow Mark because his Twitter account is the Flying Pig Games account. It's Mark Holt Walker. And I said, hey, Mark, now that you're actually the sponsor of the Wednesday shows, don't you think it'd be maybe a good idea to follow me? So, what can I tell you? Mark is he's a cool cat. He is a very unique individual, that is for sure. So we've got terrain effects chart here. As I started to say that we saw in Armageddon War, which was my pick for War Game of the Year for 2018, started to see some like color coordination with the counters. So you didn't have to sit there messing around with a whole lot of different rules and things like that. Now, I'm taking a guess it's going to be different as far as the Battle of Kursk goes, but I found it very interesting the way Armageddon War utilized. Oh well, you know, you want to find out what the anti-armor factor is? Well, it's this color here. This is what this unit is actually built to tackle. Or oh well, this color over here, that's showing you that this unit is actually for, you know, anti-personnel. So let's take a look. See some of these counters here. So kind of a little bit of a standard look to these. Although we're not looking at NATO iconography, we are looking at artwork. Got the various different tanks, and we've got the... I'm just kind of glancing over here because I can tell if this is in... this is actually in focus. As opposed to, hey, I'm holding up this counter sheet. That's completely fuzzy. Got dual sides here. Now let's see. Are we looking at? Yeah, looks like we've got step reduction in this. So looks like these would be full strength, and once they've taken damage, we're gonna flip. So, all right. So we've got that counter sheet here. Another counter sheet over here as well. So we've got the gray are the Germans, which is not unusual. And then the green is actually the Soviet, which is a little unusual as far as a color scheme for Soviet counters. So, hey, yeah, it's fine with me. I have no problem with it. There we go. Now I was wondering if we would have some rec counters. We do. Right, so we've got some more units, and then we start getting into some informational markers here as well. So part of this is a little bit of little card driven and a little impulse driven, according to the box itself. So we've got some more of these, and of course these are big chunky 1-inch counters. So I as someone who's, you know, now in their 50s, I appreciate that because I can read, right, 4411 with an asterisk. I can see that. I don't even have to put on, you know, reading specs to see that. Missed the first set of counters. No infantry at all, just tanks. No, there's infantry. I'll go back to the first. Here. Got infantry here. So, same with the Soviets. We got the infantry counters here. So it is kind of interesting how we do have like the NATO iconography or whatever. Yeah, granted, yes, NATO was not around during World War II. But we have the little icon there, but then we also have the soldier standing there. So pretty cool. Cool. So guards infantry, we got infantry, machine guns. Cool. All right, so let's take a look at the maps. Now I do understand that these are not like the huge monster maps that we have seen in like old school tactical or Armageddon War. I mean, they're big maps, don't get me wrong. They're good sized maps. But it's not like it's like, oh my gosh, this thing is huge. And at least here they are geomorphic. So we can kind of switch these around a little bit. Now I don't know if we do that in the scenarios or not. But that was like one of the little tiny knocks that I had. Robert says, I think some of the Platoon Commander series is hypothetical anyway. You are correct. In fact, to be honest, I thought there's really only one Platoon Commander release over on the Tiny Battle website. I thought it's Sticks and Stones. I am not positive if there's more than that, but I thought it was only the one. Maybe I'm wrong. All right, so this is really historically accurate. It depicts NATO's stance right after the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. That's right. And I believe John Belushi was in command of the Pacific Fleet at that point in time, if I remember my history correctly. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? What? He's on a roll. All right, so let's see the other map here. All right, so yeah, not bad. Good stock. Good solid maps here. Personally, it's a little bland. But yeah, it's, you know, it's showing off the different terrains, so that's fine. Got no issue with that. So we've got the two different maps. Got that. All right, so we've got two maps. I just put the other one. There we go. Got the two maps. We got the 4 counter sheets. We've got the 3 player aids. We've got the rules. We've got the 10-sided dice. Take a look at these cards. It's like, what we got here? Maybe 20? 18? No, I thought on the back, didn't it say there were 18 cards? So if I remember correctly, Mark and I talked about these cards in the interview, and Mark mentioned something about that in the interview you did. That there's different Platoon Commander releases, or that it's like hypothetical, like 1980s World War III. Because I know I teased Mark about that. I was like, for crying out loud, man. Do we really need another hypothetical 1985 World War III East Germany game out there? So, but Sticks and Stones is supposed to be, I remember right, I think that's like near future. Okay, so if I remember right, Mark was just basically saying that I think each of the players get like 1 or 2 of these cards in each scenario. It's not like you're going to go through a bunch of these. So we do see that it's divided by the Soviets and the Germans. So we've got airstrike, artillery barrage, sniper attack, op fire, airstrike. So what do we got here? Yep, 18. So these are just to add some additional randomness, some chaos into the mix as well, which I always dig. I always like war games that kind of shake things up. It's one of the reasons why I'm a big fan of a lot of my buddy Herman Lettman's designs, because Herman loves chaos. Herman likes chaos in his games. And even if you're looking at any cost, which is the Franco-Prussian game, which is from GMT, which is a good title. It's a lot of fun. It's a game that's not difficult to get into whatsoever. Even though it's a Franco-Prussian war game, it's got a lot of chaos into it. You never know what's going to happen. All right, so that is what we find inside the core game for Mark H. Walker's Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk. So, you know what I am going to do here? Yeah, we still got a little bit of time. Let's take a look at some of the other extras that are out there. So, we've got the strategy guide for Platoon Commander Deluxe. All right, so I got to be honest. They did this with Armageddon War as well. And the strategy guide is really good for Armageddon War. Don't get me wrong, but it's also $25. $25. Now this is, of course, for Platoon Commander Deluxe. It's 24 pages, and this carries an MSRP of $25. I love Mark. Don't get me wrong. Mark is a friend of mine. There you go. Crowbar! Yeah, I'm waiting for that. I am definitely waiting for that. Another Herman Lettman design, which is actually kind of based on his in magnificent style that he did for Victory Point Games, which was Pickett's Charge at Gettysburg. Anyway, moving right along. I should be seeing that. I don't think that's coming out until Origins. I believe that's where they're planning on releasing that. So, back to the strategy guide. The strategy guide was really good. Really enjoyed it. I mean, it was very worthwhile picking up. Problem is, $25 is like way too much. Way too much. Look at it this way. For 3 times the price, a little more than 3 times the price of the strategy guide, you can get the game for $20 more. Well, right now, only $10. You can get the expansion. So, I'm not trying to bust Mark H. Walker's chops. I almost said something else. I'm trying to bust his chops for it. What I would probably recommend, and you guys are the fans out there. You guys play the Flying Pig Games and the Tiny Battle Publishing stuff. Which, reach out to Mark and say, hey, you know what? Have you considered doing the strategy guides and putting them up on Wargame Vault? Just like they do with a lot of the Tiny Battle Publishing titles, you can get on Wargame Vault as print and play. Do the same thing with the strategy guides. Put those up as a PDF. You're going to download it. Number one, you're talking about overhead for Flying Pig Games is like practically nothing because it's a PDF. And you charge like $5, right? $5, $4 or $5, and it's all profit. You're not, and I understand, yes, Mark wants to make sure, and I'm telling you right now, I'm taking a look at this. I guarantee this is just loaded with really great information. It's nice paper stock. It's not cheap, chintzy paper stock. But still, to me, maybe it's just me. I think $25 is pretty steep. Pretty steep. Okay, so let's take a look at Tracks in the Mud. So this is the expansion. Tracks in the Mud is a box expansion for boy, I tell you, it's super dry down here. It is warmer in the Duct Tape Studios, but it is super dry. And the furnace is constantly kicking on. So Robert says picked up the Old School Tactical 2 strategy guide on sale at Miniatures Market. I think that's what you're trying to say. Maybe for $16. You know what? To me, still $16 for 25-page booklet. It's to me that's a little, they want the sponsorship. No, that's not. There goes the sponsorship. No. Mark understands it, and I'm sure those of you who've followed the gaming gang for a long time also understand. I'm friends with a lot of people in the industry, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to share my honest opinions. Once again, it's just an opinion. I don't understand when people get mad about like a review I do. It's like, it's just my opinion. I'm not saying, if the game is just, it's okay, it's pretty good, it's not fantastic. If it's not fantastic, in my opinion, it's just not fantastic. It doesn't mean I'm like, well, I hope the designer burns in hell. No. Not at all. All right, so let's take a look at the Kursk expansion here. Come on, what do you got? You guys got this glued closed? Jeez. Okay, so we've got scenarios. So we got some more scenarios. We got 2, 3, 5, 6. So we got half dozen new scenarios. Hey, 65? Man, I know some people just hate my videos, but it's just kind of stream of consciousness, right? We're having fun. We're talking about games. 65 is really good. 65 is really, really good. My nephew Cameron, who is not, not an established or experienced wargamer by any stretch of the imagination. He really dug it. Of course, I had to play, you know, the Viet Cong in the NVA, but still. All right, so what we got here? 6 pages, 5 pages altogether, really. So we got the scenarios. We got another counter sheet. So look at that. We got some a little bit of cavalry here. Cav coming in. A little bit of infantry. What are those? Armored cars? No, half tracks. Half tracks. Some new tanks. Sweet. Again. Cool sighted. One thing I didn't notice, and maybe it's something that it's in the cards possibly. I didn't notice any tokens, any counters, or anything for air support. Although there was a scenario saying every Stuka available or something like that. So pretty cool. And these are really well cut because I'm just holding them and these counters are trying to pop right on out. So we got the other counter sheet there, and looks like we got another map. So let's take a look. Let's see what we got. Okay. Yep, we got another map here. Looks like we've got some more towns. More towns than on the previous 2 maps. this is urban for 1943 Russia. All right, there we go. Cool deal. So we've got the new map. We've got the counter sheet, and we've got. See, look at that. Popped right on out. That counter popped right out. Then, of course, we've got the scenarios, and that is what we find in the Tracks in the Mud expansion for Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk. And I should mention, Mark also sent me this mouse pad, which is cool. I always dig mouse pads. So let's see. So Robert says, "Oh yeah, I want all in on that one." 65. All right. So I'm gonna put the strategy guide in there so it doesn't get messed up with the stacks of things that I always have floating around. All right. So that is what is currently out and available for Mark H. Walker's Platoon Commander Deluxe, the Battle of Kursk, which is from APE Games. As I mentioned before, it is normally carrying an MSRP of $100. You can currently get it. You can order it right now. It is not a pre-order. It is available for sale. You can get it for $85. Tracks in the Mud, the expansion, is available right now for $35. Normally going to be $45. And the strategy guide is $25 normally, $23 right now on a discount. Fingers crossed. Email Mark, say, "Hey Mark, I really want to get that strategy guide. $25 is a little steep. Let's talk Mark into considering putting it up on Wargame Vault. Consider it." Yeah, 65. I did videos quite a while back with a lot of the various Kickstarter. They weren't exclusives; they were just add-ons in Kickstarter. They were part of the Kickstarter. You could buy them later on. Very, very cool. Really like. Only knock, really, I've got about 65, is it's another one of those giant maps again. And to me, when you do the giant map, as opposed to smaller maps that are geomorphic, to me, you kind of cut down on the variety of scenarios that you're able to play or to concoct, you know? All right, so pretty long show today. Anywho, as I mentioned on tomorrow's show, I will be reviewing the Living Land supplement for Toward Eternity, as well as the Delphi Missions hardcore, both from Ulysses North America. So that'll be on tomorrow's show. As I like to say, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, please visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. And now you know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And tell your friends about it, please. All right, so everybody enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. I'll be back tomorrow. And of course, as always, Thank you for joining me in chat. And those of you who are not watching live, thanks for watching. Thanks again for watching The Daily Dope, presented by The Gaming Gang. If you like this episode, be sure to give it a quick thumbs up. And if you dig the channel, please subscribe. If you'd like to check out our previous episode, click right here. And if you want to check out a somewhat randomly selected episode, give a click right down here. It'll be like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You just don't know what you'll get. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'm Jeff McAleer.